Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense. How's it supposed to work? What's it supposed to look like when you get good at it? Guys, my name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of top-level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. Black belt under Master Pedro Sauer and Tony Rinaldi. You're watching Professor's Corner. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Guys, what I'm going to show you today is actually not owned by me. It is me teaching, and it's from the Pedro Sauer Association conference that they have every year in Virginia. I was honored enough to be asked to instruct at the conference in 2023. They hold this every year, and I highly recommend it to everybody. If you want to see all of these videos and the entirety of my instruction, you can go to pedrosauer.com and register as a student. Full disclosure, I get nothing from this. I don't get a kickback. I don't get anything. It is completely up to you whether you want to do it or not, but that's who owns it. And because of that, I'm not going to show the entire video, but I am going to show the first few minutes to give you maybe, for some of you who maybe see some of the Pedro Sauer self-defense and don't quite understand it, or I should say the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense or Jiu-Jitsu self-defense, and don't understand how it's supposed to be trained. I'm going to show you just a little insight into how I taught it at the association event last year. I'm going to start off, guys, with, Jiu-Jitsu is all about self-defense, and as everybody knows, the brown and black belt test specifically, you have to demonstrate the master text, right, and, everything that Elio Gracie wrote and put down. And what I see sometimes, and please don't take this the wrong way, if this is you or whatever, is like some people learn it and then never do it again. All right, I won't make you show me your hands if that's you, but like if it is, hopefully what I can show you today for the first couple minutes anyway, as we use this for a warm-up, we'll maybe change your thought process on that. Because sometimes, how many of you have read, man, that looks like Aikido? Put up your hand, you know what the hell I'm talking about, right? Okay, right, so why does it look that way? Because it's just like completely compliant, everything's going your way. And how many of you have been in real combat, whether it be MMA, policing, bouncing, military, whatever? The one thing I can tell you about combat when I was there is that combat is absolute chaos. All right? Nothing goes the way you expect it to go, and you have to be willing to move on as little as 40% of the information that you need to accomplish any particular task. So it doesn't matter what self-defense move, let's just say standing and choking behind, right? We've got this move, boom, we're supposed to come in here. By the way, my shoulder is terrible, so even though I should be grabbing there, you probably won't see me do that very much. You can grab tight. We drop the hips, right? Bring them forward. We would tuck our head and throw. We all know this move? Is there anybody who does not? Okay, because this is less about the specific pieces of the move and more about the conceptual stuff. All right, so let's look at a second move real quick. Let's say he's grabbing my collar, twisting, pulling, that wrist one in. What do we got? We got 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. Let's pretend we live in a world where this is a living, breathing human being who has a choice. I'm not. Okay? For a moment. Imagine the world where he's here, I'm like, oh crap, I'm in a fight, because that's generally, because most of us are normally adjusted human beings. Normally adjusted human beings don't think about being in a fight. Mm-hmm. So I go like this, and I go to do this, and he says, well, screw that noise, and he just wraps around me and decides to grab my neck. Oh shit, I better be ready for that. Okay? That's how I want you to think of these moves. Instead of thinking of them as move A, whoa, you're amazing. Think of it as move A connects to move B. These are Lego pieces. And if you play with Legos, Legos go together in any order you want them to go in. All right? If you allow yourself to open your mind and do it. All right? How many of you have read like, oh, I saw that move, but I would just double leg him instead? Anybody read that? Yeah, I'm not saying no. All right? That might happen, right? Maybe, he's here grabbing or whatever, boom, I try to go for this, he starts punching, I got to lift. I just want you to start thinking about putting the techniques together once you learn the basic mechanics of them with every other jiu-jitsu move you know. Let's use this as a warm-up. I don't care what technique you start with or what you flow into. Does that make sense? Sure. Go slow, go easy, we're not warm. Use it as a little bit of a warm-up. Is there anybody who's confused? If you are, I would understand. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. So while we're talking about that, that's actually not the bulk of what I want to teach today, but I wanted to kind of get that out there as a way to integrate that into all the rest of everything you do. Just remember that those techniques they're jiu-jitsu. And just like you would flow from a, or an arm bar to a triangle to an omoplata, you should be able to flow from a headlock to a rear choke defense to a double leg or anything else. Okay? Is there any of those techniques that you would like to see specific instruction on at this moment, or do we want to leave that to your instructors? Yes, sir.
Well, being a police officer, sometimes they'll grab like your vest, or how to really make just really define that technique, because it's just never know, like we got all your.
Yeah, sure. So again, my only experience with a vest was an interceptor vest. It's a little different, but we're totally good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. But I've seen you guys kind of hold up here. Right? Is that where people tend to grab?
Yes.
So just remember that with any grip, like pretend I'm wearing like a vest and just come in and grab that. Where the grip is always going to be weak is where the opening is, right? So if I just take this off, like the grip, it's to be 180. The grip is weak here, right? Because that's where he's coming in. So in that situation, and he has the inverted thumb in this situation too, right? So that kind of leads us to this move where we step in and break. Of course, it might flow to something else. He's probably going to do something. But when he does that, let's go this way. I always say, like, it's kind of like catching a football. If you catch a football above your waist, the hands go like this, below, it's here. I don't know if that matters to anybody. But one, and then I want to extend his arm. So I take a step, punch it off, cut off his action. I'm using my elbow here to frame on my own leg. That makes it difficult for him to pull this back in. Right? And if I need to, and in your scenario, you probably want to, I can actually take this lead leg and extend it forward. This is going to put you on the ground here. All right? And now we could start coming up and gaining back position, which is what you want anyway. So, is that helpful?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we want to practice that, or do we want to move forward? Do you see? Okay. All right. Cool. My pleasure. All right, guys. So I can't show the entire video. I'd love to, but it's like 46 minutes long, I think. But hopefully it gives you just an idea of how to make this stuff work in real life scenarios. And the big key is you got to practice it, right? If you don't practice it, and then once you understand the base mechanics, practice it with resistance. And it's like, well, what if they do this? I don't know. Find out. What if they start punching you? Start blocking, see what happens next. What if they start grabbing at your leg? What if they, there's a lot of what ifs that could happen, right? There's free movement. What if they let go and back up? Cool, I'm not being grabbed anymore. So these are the things that you got to play with this stuff, and that's what's actually going to make it work. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, do me a favor, like, subscribe. If you don't, I want to know what you're interested in is. Are you just you've been grappling for 30 years and you don't care, like you can do whatever. Maybe you're a Thai boxer. Maybe you've got some, regular boxing experience. You're like, hey man, I'm just going to two-piece this guy and he's going to go down. That's every bit as valid. Let me be clear. I think it's weird when I see martial arts that are like, here's what I'd do versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's like, do you get in a lot of fights with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys? Like, why wouldn't you just do the normal stuff? Like, why we got to do anything different? If someone's grabbing you and you can just pop, then sure, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think that's a weird take on stuff when people do that. But anyway, guys, I hope that's helpful, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great one.